Hey everyone, welcome to the Withering Effect, episode 129. Today's date is January 30th, 2022, and I am Duds, or Duds Versus, known to the rest of the interwebs.
And I'm Jimbo. You may know me as Jimbo Slice 23. So what have you been up to this week, Duds?
Not a lot. I think people will notice my episode, which will be out before this episode, is definitely late.
It is.
And it's strange because I was actually early on the episode. I was almost done with the episode within 3 days of the previous episode release. But work, it's been just absolutely hectic this past week. And I'd come home so drained. I couldn't do anything but just sit on the couch and watch TV.
Well, you're a supervisor now, right?
Yeah,
Kind of boss. So
a lot of the responsibilities without the entitlement. But yeah, there were several days I got well over 8 or 9 miles of walking in at work, just going back and forth, and we're constantly lifting things that's like 100 pounds, and it's just, you physically just drained. So I couldn't do anything. Like I'm supposed to be streaming this weekend. I'm still recovering from Friday.
Wow.
Friday was just such a wore out. Like I don't think I logged into the server at all yesterday. And if I did, it was maybe for a couple minutes just to check on some stuff.
What's funny is you say that, and I was on there like almost all day. And I almost have, like you were saying, you had an episode almost done in 3 days. I'm almost done with mine.
Yeah.
Like my next one. I just put one out yesterday. So yeah, I've been doing a lot. I have big things going on right now.
Yeah, my episode will be finished basically whenever we get off this recording. All I have to do is edit 2 more clips and then record an outro and edit that.
Okay.
It's not too big, but I worked on a nether portal entrance. Finally got my nether portal out of the random position next to my wheat farm.
Yeah.
There's a nice way in and out. It looks cool. My only regret is the shape of the room. Started out as a half circle, and by the time I ended, it turned into an octagon.
Yeah, I remember stopping over. You had a half circle.
I know. It's now half octagon. You just keep putting stuff on, and if you're working with circles and that circle's not big enough, the shape drastically changes.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
It's still not bad. The only problems I had was the nether portal entrance was also supposed to be an entrance to my amethyst rooms, where I'm mining all of that stuff. And it turns out if I were to dig down to my amethyst room levels, I'd have to dig through the middle of the iron farm. So I couldn't do my amethyst room entrances without doing like some weird zigzag about halfway down, which I'm not about that life. I am not doing that. Honestly, I guess it wouldn't have been too bad because I want to do a storage system. I get so many amethyst shards. I mean, almost an entire double chest when I mine those 2 geodes. So I'd like to set up I want to do a lichen farm down there, because we can create the light blocks using the shards and lichen.
Right.
The other thing is I need a moss farm. So that would also be kind of a good area to put it in down there. Since I need the bone meal for the lichen farm, kind of makes sense. And then,
yeah.
What was I going to say? I done lost all train of track. I was choking on my own breath for half a second.
You're talking about lichens, bone meal? You need bone meal?
The fact that we could make light blocks, that's how I'm lighting up my entire area. So I need to manufacture a good amount of them. That's why I was excited when I found multiple geodes.
Yeah, it's pretty big to have a couple. I got one, and it's not close enough for me to really, for it to produce while I'm working.
Yeah.
I kind of have to go ways, but good thing I have a member of the server based near it. So every time I go there,
it's constantly loaded.
Yeah, so I can actually go there and harvest it.
Yeah, that's the good thing about mine is they're always loaded too because they're right underneath my base.
Nice.
Yeah, and I still have a 3rd geode in that area that I have not even hooked up to. It's funny because I found that first geode, And then I kept digging, and I found the other 2. And then I completely just stopped using the first geode. Mainly because that one was really close to the iron farm, and I didn't want to risk digging it out and iron golems start spawning down there.
Yeah. Yeah, spawns are weird.
Yeah, iron golem spawns, man. They can do some of the weirdest things.
I had them all over the place. I knew I'd have to, like, control it.
Yeah.
Because I have this tree, so I path blocks. They don't spawn on path blocks. That was good. I had to use a lot of slabs and then carpeting, and eventually I got them all to where they don't spawn. And I noticed just above where the platform is, where I have them controlled spawn at, I had these logs up there, and they weren't. It's spawnable, and they're not spawning up there. So I guess so high from the villages or villagers. Usually it's 8 blocks away from the villagers.
Yeah.
That's where they'll spawn. But above, I think it's a little bit shorter than 8 blocks. I've counted. They're definitely closer than 8, and there were no golems up there the whole time I was trying to, detail my tree.
Maybe their heads also have to be within the 8 blocks, and maybe where they were spawned, their feet would be within 8 blocks, but their heads would be out of the 8 blocks, so it's not working.
It's like a 5-block range type of deal. Could be right. Yeah, I was going to talk about my week. I didn't know if you were
go ahead.
Finished there.
The only other thing I did was a netherwort farm, and it's all kind of manuals and stuff, so.
Yeah, those are always... I mean, it's nice to have the netherwort, but the fact that it's manual, and I wish there's a way to automate that somehow.
I did mine so it looks like a crop field. Like, you know how I had the wheat?
Yeah.
The little wheat farm next to the cow harvesting section.
Okay.
I basically did that with a netherwort. There's no automatic function hidden behind a wall somewhere like the wheat farm.
Yeah.
It's just a manual netherwort farm, but I decorated it up. I made it look pretty. I put some dead bushes inside of it. I left one of the mossy cobblestone boulders in place, sprinkled a few mushrooms in there with it, and I think it looks really good.
Okay. So you kind of build it within your build.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. It's a part of it.
Exactly.
Nice, but also functional.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Yeah, netherwort's one of those things you could do that with.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the wheat, that can be automated.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do a carrot, potato, and beetroot crop farm. I say crop farm because they're not going to be automated. They're just there to look pretty.
Okay. Kind of with like the wheat.
Yeah. But what about you? What have you done this week since you're almost done with your episode?
Oh, you should see this room I dug out. I'm building a tree farm.
Yeah.
By the way, and I need to build, or the trees I need to grow are, jungle trees. Most of the 2x2 trees are pretty large, so I needed dig out a pretty good sized room. If I can spit that out, Jesus. Yeah, it's gigantic. That was actually the easy part. The hard part was putting this automated tree farm inside. It grows all the 1 block wide trees, besides the acacia and the azalea. Different trees now. But it does the oak, the jungle, spruce, and birch.
Mm-hmm.
I can get all those. And I actually get a good return on saplings, too. I was surprised to see that.
Yeah, you do. I know what farm you built, so.
Yeah, you built the same one. Actually, I was like, you mentioned it, how convenient it was, and it does the 4 different types. So I actually went to your video from last season to look up the link for the tutorial. And yeah, it's working really well. I got it already built. It'll be in my next episode. I did have a little mishap on what was going on. I was really confused. I was actually like getting upset that the server was too laggy, that it was the server.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is not going to work because the server's too laggy. And looked at it again. I'm like, these are in the wrong spot. So I moved everything. Still wasn't working. And then I figured out the other issue. So yeah, I mentioned it in my video. If you guys watch that, you'll see how not to build a tree farm. But working really well. I even made enough room to build my dark oak trees and, like I said, my acacia and azalea trees to, get the leaves from the azalea trees and the wood from all the other wood types that I can't use in that farm.
Yeah.
Going really well. But with a big room becomes, you get you're going to need a big design. So I've been placing a lot of blocks, trying to get this thing the way I want.
Mm-hmm.
I have like this big image in my head. For one, in the ground, my base, at least my starter base, is it consists around it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's developed around this tree, right? In the root system. And I want to incorporate that some way in the walls, like the roots are coming through.
Uh-huh.
And it's pretty convenient. It's a tree farm. So it shouldn't be too hard, but it's going to be a lot of work. But I'm actually excited. I'm motivated again to do all this stuff. And yeah, I kind of lost the mojo at one point, but it's definitely back. And all I want to do is play on the server and get my stuff where it needs to go, what it needs to look like. And I also have big plans for other farms and where they're even going to go. So pretty excited for that. Been doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Planning out where things are going to go before you're even close to building them is the hardest part in the season for me.
Yes, I agree.
Is you always want to make things look good. So it's like, how can I leave room for expansion and maneuverability in case something doesn't work, while at the same time making this feel complete and compact?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
And you'd like to have functionality everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's nice to have an aesthetic looking build, looks good and everything, but to have some functionality behind it gives it that little bit extra. That's what I look forward to.
Yeah, I feel my dome last season was my most complete functional base that I had ever made.
Yeah?
The mountain, not so much. The mountain only housed a storage room and a furnace. And the fact that it wasn't that close to the dome, I still had to travel by rail to get between them.
Yeah.
Kind of hurt me a little bit there. But I keep thinking about my season, and that might be happening again this season. At one point in the season, I'm planning on basically moving out of my taiga and doing my normal kind of duds base. We're gonna build underground and make a completely functional base and stuff like that, just because that's what I like doing. Yeah, it doesn't leave a great footprint on the server. People can't just look at it and go, wow, this looks awesome. It's kind of just like, nope, here it is. It works. It's great. I love it. Blah.
Mm-hmm. My main thing is get all my automated stuff in the ground. Most of the time, these farms, they're not easy to build around to make it look pleasing to the eye. If you build it in the ground, it makes it a little bit easier.
Well, I mean, there's little things you can do to make farming areas look pleasing. Like you look at Carl last season.
Yeah.
He built up some walls or whatever. It wasn't overly decorated, but it was clean and sleek, and that was it. You don't have to hide the redstone. You just need to build the redstone with some good-looking blocks, and you'll be all right.
Yeah, make it look clean.
Yeah.
We're not as clean as Carl, though.
The dude is meticulous.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of people who just kind of plop redstone builds around, and they don't tie them together, intricate them, or try to decorate them. It's just, plop, there's a farm.
Yeah, I feel like that's something you do when you play by yourself on like a single player world.
Yeah.
And you're just messing around. Maybe, if you have like a hardcore series or something. But I feel like when you're on a server, and you're trying to make content, you kind of expect to see a farm that's, well put together, well designed. It has a nice look to it.
Exactly. You want people to be able to look at your builds and get some kind of entertainment value out of that too.
Right.
I'm trying to think, like, there are some builds that are extremely hard to decorate, that's for sure. Like the giant mob farms, the flushing systems. I used some of that for a creeper farm in my single player world, and I struggled with, like, well, how am I going to decorate this and still be functional? I couldn't find a great way. So the way you do that is you do what I call the Carl Rides way, and you use clean, aesthetically pleasing blocks like straight up concrete. All the trap doors or whatever you're going to use the same. Redstone lines are on colored pathways.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do that. If you place in a bunch of cobblestone down, different color, if you using spruce and dark oak and acacia, whatever you have, nah, that's fine for single player world or if you're hiding it underground.
Right.
But I wouldn't want that in my base. I wouldn't want it in the middle of walking around next to my house. There's just, I mean, I had the cobblestone cow farm for maybe 7 hours before I went, ugh, bleh. Gotta put this somewhere else.
Yeah.
I guess, should we go ahead and hop into the news?
Yeah.
Because we actually have a tiny bit.
I got this frog in my throat.
You were wanting to use that segue, weren't you?
Well, it's there. I mean, I can't get it out.
All right, so we're back on the beta because Java still doesn't have any snapshots out for 1.19 yet. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah. But the frogs got worked on a good bit. There were some animation tweaks to the jumping mechanics and the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
They renamed frog eggs because frog eggs, I guess, are a real thing. So you don't want to get them confused, which I don't... Like, there's not going to be frog eggs in the game. So they renamed frog eggs to frog spawn.
Yeah.
Like, isn't everything a, like, cow spawn egg?
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever floats your boat, I guess that's where I'm at with it. You know, I mean, if that's what they want to call it, okay.
Yeah,
But I thought the eggs made sense.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a Bedrock thing and how they've just named things differently. Because this is a Bedrock beta. This is not a Java snapshot.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Me and Jimbo are in unfamiliar territory again.
Right.
So, I don't know. It just seems weird to worry about the name if frog eggs aren't in the game. Just name it like you would name every other spawn egg, and that'll be fine. But frogs are going to jump more frequently. They're going to bounce around, which I guess is cool.
Yeah, I guess it was I don't know if there was a complaint, but people worried that the frogs are just moving around too slow, you know, and if they're jumping around more frequently, then they can actually move a little bit quicker because their walking animation, they're pretty slow in that sense. So I think that's why they gave them a little bit more jumping ability. I think they jump, do they jump higher? I knew they jump more frequently.
I don't think they jump higher. I think they just jump more.
Okay.
Like more frequently. So I'm reading a little bit longer, and now I'm seeing some stuff that's making sense. One of the changes is the time for a frog spawn to hatch into a tadpole has been increased. So frogs do lay eggs in the game. They just don't come out as tadpoles. See, I never heard that. All I knew is that we had tadpoles to frogs. It looks like now we have frog spawn to tadpoles to frogs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they mentioned the eggs. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
They didn't bring it up in the, what was it?
Minecon.
Yeah, in Minecon. I don't even think they gave us tadpoles.
Yeah, I knew we had tadpoles, but I didn't know they had eggs. Like, I knew we had, like, frog eggs was a real life thing, but I didn't know if that was a Minecraft thing. Also, are zombies going to stomp on frog eggs like they do turtle eggs?
That's never been brought up, I don't think.
Yeah, because zombies, they don't like them eggs.
No, they're not a fan of them. At least the turtle eggs. You think turtle and frogs are both amphibians, right?
Yeah.
Pretty sure I got that right. Yeah, they would make them attract zombies.
Maybe they're changing the name of frog eggs because in real life, frog eggs are called something else too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm typing really slowly so Carl can edit my clicks out.
I notice when they do spawn from the eggs or whatever you want to call it, the tadpoles kind of like pop out of there.
Yeah.
You know, they're kind of hard to control where they're going to go. You kind of need a big area of water to keep them from actually popping off a few blocks away onto land.
Oh, yeah, and they're called frog eggs.
Huh.
So yeah, there's going to be some confusion around these names, I can already tell you. But they did mention that tadpole hitboxes are going to be larger. So I guess they'll be easier to scoop up with a bucket.
Yeah, when they're flopping around on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure you get enough water around them to avoid that. They did change the texture on the frog spawn.
Yeah, I couldn't find a picture of it, though.
Yeah, I didn't really notice a change. It might have been a slight thing. But then again, like, it's been a while since we saw these frog eggs or frog spawns, so...
Yeah, so this update was a real pain. One, whoever's in charge of Mojang's website, please work on it. I cannot find any of the snapshot/beta news on that website, period, unless it's weeks old. I luckily follow a lot of the devs on Twitter, and I can go back and check their Twitter and find it there. It takes a bit of scrolling because Minecraft devs tweet a good bit, I can go back and find it. Or it's generally easier for me to find a YouTuber I follow who's talked about the news to find it that way. The fact that I have to go to a third or fourth party to find news instead of the actual source of the news.
Right. Yeah, I usually have to find a video of someone I follow to actually see the news. Not often do I go to the website because, like you said, it's not easy to navigate.
No. Yeah, Frog's got a lot of attention this week. I guess it's all right, but I couldn't find videos. I couldn't find pictures or any of that stuff. So
there was a video by Waddles.
Okay.
He covered most of what's on here. I want to say all of it. Yeah, he covered all of this. Yeah, if you guys want to see more in depth on the frogs, go check out his video.
I will have to do that because I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, normally Exuma would give these releases, not so much the Bedrock betas though. So luckily I was able to find. I actually just scrolled upon it and I was like, oh, we're going to cover frogs today. I better watch this. I actually saw it this morning.
But let's hop into some listener comments.
Okay.
We've got a couple. This one's from I am Kara Danvers. Oh, I did not breathe correctly in saying the name. I am Kara Danvers. Words. DuDs and Jimbo, now that the entirety of Caves and Cliffs, in name at least, has been out for a few months, how would you say it ranks as an update in comparison to other Minecraft updates? Ooh, this is tough.
Yeah, I like to start off by maybe scaling it, like putting it on a tier, like S tier, A tier, B tier. I'd probably, as of right now, I'd probably give it a B. I don't know, maybe a B plus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the best parts are yet to come. Like, I feel like when we had the Caves and Cliffs coming out earlier, we had the Warden and the Deep Dark coming with it, and that is a completely different update now. And the fact that this had two parts, we got, your Azalea or Moss Blocks. You got bits and pieces of it in the first part. And then
Deep Slate.
Yeah, the Deep Slate. That's a big one, actually.
Mm-hmm.
That could move it up to an A in that case. It's not the best. It's not the best update.
No.
But yeah, there are some things that I don't like. Well, there's not too many things I don't like. There's other updates that have been I've been way more excited about than this one.
Yes. Not trying to diminish this update, because technology-wise, this was probably the biggest update for Mojang to do. And the fact they're recoding worlds.
Yeah, right.
Like, massive amounts of recoding and stuff.
Right.
It did bring the best update to the game, which is mobs no longer spawn unless it's 0.
Yeah.
That, to me, that's a quality of life update that was desperately needed.
Yeah, it was huge.
Mm-hmm.
That is a huge part of this update.
That being said, it's still 3 updates. Yeah, I'm going to put the Wild update as part 3 because we were supposed to get the Deep, Dark, and Warden in the first update, then the second update, and now we're having to wait for another update. And I get it keeps changing and growing, and I'm not going to, complain. Like, when you're putting it in aspects to other updates, to me, the best update so far is 1.9 because we get an Elytra and we get shulker boxes. 2 things that are daily uses in the game. Those are huge updates.
Right.
Then you have the 1.14 Villager update, which drastically changed the way how we enchant tools and weapons and stuff that we use on a daily basis.
Redstone
update. That's a massive update. I don't think I'd be playing Minecraft if there wasn't Redstone involved.
Right. Just the way to automate the game.
Mm-hmm.
Just engineer different contraptions was huge.
And when you look at the best things about this update, the terrain is absolutely stunning.
Love it. Love the terrain.
But it's terrain we've seen builders build already.
Yeah.
So basically this update was mainly for people who don't build that kind of terrain. The biggest and best parts about this update were Deep Slate and mobs no longer spawning on any light level.
Yep. Those are the 2 biggest in my opinion.
Yeah.
Love that change.
Yep. And when you compare them to shulker boxes and Elytra, Redstone, it's just not high up on my list.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to put the update down. I think it's a very good update, and I have enjoyed the update, minus the tons of ravines I keep falling in.
Hmm.
I don't know why there's so many ravines.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an explorer, this is huge. I mean, well, I like to explore, and this is definitely a huge update. But yeah, compared to others, it's not, I don't know, as appealing. I mean, you kind of seen it coming.
Yeah, I'm not an explorer.
No, yeah, exactly. I don't know. I really enjoyed this update, but it hasn't really changed the game too much for me. I'm kind of doing the same things I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
The world looks great. Don't get me wrong. The world looks amazing. All the generation, it's awesome. Love it. Love the mountains. Love the caves. It kind of changed in that sense, but besides the gameplay, the gameplay's still the same.
Yeah, that's what has me worried about the wild update. We're seeing some cool stuff. We're seeing swamps get overhauled. We're seeing the deep dark and the warden coming, but we still know very little about this update, and I'm afraid it's going to be like the Nether update. The Nether update was a huge, drastic change.
Oh yeah.
Did it change how you play the game?
It did in the Nether.
You wear gold armor around a lot more than usual, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Change that, and the way you get around in the Nether. You got to be more cautious in other areas.
The Nether's a pit stop still. I'm not going to live in the Nether. I'm not going to hang out in the Nether. I'm going to get my stuff and get out.
But there's more to pit stop for.
There is more to pit stop, but not a ton for me. Like Warped Wood, yeah, I'll pit stop for that. I rarely engage in bastions.
I was just going to say that. I think I've been through 4 bastions already, and maybe 5. I went to get bone blocks last night for my tree farm, and I found another one, and I went in there. I really enjoy the bastions.
Yeah. See, bastions have no hold on me.
Oh, I like it.
And they're only good for the Snout Banner and Pig Step.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I do like those, but I like the challenge. Going through there, I feel like my heart is racing the whole time I'm in a bastion. As soon as I go into a bastion, I'm like, okay, oh, where are they? Where are those brutes at? 'Cause they're pretty dangerous. I like that element of danger.
Yeah.
When I go into those places.
Whereas for me, it's the complete opposite. To me, Minecraft's my chill game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I wanted like heart racing pounding, I'd play Battlefield or Breath of the Wild.
But that's the beauty of the game. You know what I mean? You can make it a chill game. There's the chill aspect. There's that danger element. There's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. These aren't bad updates. They're just not top priority updates for me.
Mm-hmm.
So for some people, this 118 update was probably the best update they've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's like, okay, great. Thanks for changing the mob spawn thing. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that...
Yeah, there's always going to be those awesome changes in every date or update. So, yeah, we got a couple here, and I'm pretty happy about it.
Yeah, just waiting on that inventory update. That sweet, sweet inventory update.
I'm sure it'll be coming.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of blocks.
Along with concrete slabs and stairs, right?
Well, we already know what's going on there.
Yeah, there was another comment that we had on our Discord I wanted to bring up. I wonder, are you hitting at this too?
Yeah, I was just about to hint at it.
Yeah, so Stan Jr. and Lynx Fire were throwing ideas off of each other for a new mob in the game. And I really liked one aspect of it that I think would actually work out really well in the game. And the mob was a ghost, but not like a Vex ghost or anything like that. A ghost that you could befriend that could then take you to your items once you died.
Okay. Yeah, saw this thrown around in the Discord. The first thing I think about when I hear of ghosts is the soul sand. When you walk across soul sand or soul soil with your soul speed, you kind of get like a spirit that comes up out of the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that could be a good way to bring a mob to life. Maybe if they're killed on soul soil or something like that, you might be able to summon a ghost.
Okay. I was thinking, I really like the idea. They mentioned befriending the ghost, not so much what I was thinking, but having an area where ghosts could spawn, and it could be in the soil valleys or something like you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like the idea of the Mario ghost, where like you turn your back to it, the ghost would creep up and try to attack you. But if you looked at it, it wouldn't. I know Endermen kind of do the same thing. If you look an Enderman in the face, they stop.
Yeah.
Like they get all mad, but they stop moving.
Yeah.
We would need some way to capture the ghost, like Ghostbuster style. Whether it's a magical jar or something like that. Maybe we can bring in the archaeology pots, and maybe if you have certain shards on said pot, that pot will allow you to capture a ghost in it.
There you go.
And
I like that.
Whenever you die, you can release the ghost and follow the ghost, and it leads you to exactly where your items are or where you last died.
Yeah.
Because right now, that's the worst part about dying in Minecraft is like, crap, can I remember where my stuff is?
Right. Yeah, I like the fact that you're bringing in archaeology with the ghost.
Yeah.
Because it does kind of, archaeology is just remnants of things that are said dead, that aren't alive anymore. So, yeah, ghosts would be well implemented with the archaeology.
I think so. I thought those were some great ideas that were thrown out. And I think would fit well within the game.
Yeah, now you mentioned, the ghost showing you where your items are. I could see ghosts doing other things, not so much that thing, but just, I don't know, maybe going through walls. And I don't know, really not too sure what it would do. Showing you your items wouldn't be bad, but I'm thinking it could probably do something else. You could probably expand upon that. But yeah, I'm drawing a blank right now. Really didn't think about what they could do.
Yeah, I figured they could be like an Eye of Ender, how you throw it up and it tracks the nearest stronghold.
Like with with like an urn. Like the archaeology pot would then become an urn.
Maybe. Anyways, thank you for that, guys. Those comments were from our Discord, and it's the only place where you can talk to everyone who works on the show easily. Just take Link's word for it.
Hello there, miners and crafters. This is Link. Come and join me on the Withering Effect Discord. It's a great place to hang out with the people that work on the show and other fellow listeners like yourselves. The link is in the show notes. Join today and let's discuss the game we love.
Thank you for the Discord ad link. Speaking of the Discord, it's the only place you can get involved in our Mending Minecraft vote. This week we asked you to choose between one of 3 items for us to discuss and improve. Your choices were Elytra, Crossbow, and Spyglass.
And the winner of Mending Minecraft this week is... Crossbow. I would have guessed the crossbow.
Yeah.
To be honest. I think it needs the most improvement, actually.
I forget the crossbow exists in the game.
Yeah, same here until I come upon it and I'm like, oh, crossbow. Do I need one of these? No. Crossbow got 30 votes. No surprise. Spyglass was in second with 17 votes and Elytra was 7. So a few things on the crossbow. A crossbow is a ranged weapon similar to a bow that uses arrows or fireworks as animation. Can be crafted with 3 sticks, 2 string, 1 tripwire hook, and 1 iron ingot. I always forget you can craft these things. Probably because I've never done that. You can find these naturally in Pillager Outposts or Piglin Bastion loot. Also, it can be traded from a journeyman. This is a tongue twister here. Also, it can be traded from a journeyman level Fletcher villagers. These weapons can also be dropped by pillagers or piglins. While loading the crossbow, the player moves at sneak speeds, and once loaded, their speed returns to normal. And there are 3 specific enchantments for the crossbow. There is Quick Fire, that goes up to level 3. This allows you to load the crossbow faster. There is Multi-Shot, allows you to shoot 3 arrows at once or 3 fireworks. And Piercing, that goes up to level 4. This allows you to shoot through mobs and hit an enemy behind the enemy. That's it. That's it for the crossbow.
So crossbows are garbage. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. They are.
It's harsh.
That's why I can't wait for the combat update. I feel that Mojang knows this. When we saw Jeb's quick shots of... I shouldn't say quick shot. When I saw Jeb's work on the combat update, I got excited because obviously he understood that some weapons in the game just aren't worth using, such as crossbow and trident, stuff like that. Now, the crossbow, the biggest problems with the crossbow, one, are loading time. Even with the enchantment to speed up loading an arrow, it's slower than bow and arrow.
Mm-hmm.
And two, it doesn't deal the same kind of damage that a bow and arrow does.
Yeah, especially if your bow and arrow is power 5.
Right.
Like you're going to do way more damage.
So, why would you use a crossbow over a bow? I mean, it makes no sense. When you're fighting mobs in Minecraft, and I go fighting mobs, not PvP. I'm not looking at this from a PvP aspect. Very rarely are you one-on-one fighting a mob. Most of the time, you have a horde of 2, 3, 4, 5 even that you're trying to get rid of. So the slow loading speed of a crossbow negates any kind of piercing, multi-shot. Just all of that goes out the window. Because you're having to rapid fire as quick as you can to put shots on, because you can miss. Minecraft arrows are a bit of RNG. You can be as good a shot as you think you want to be, put your crosshairs on a block, and shoot that block over and over again without moving any cursor, any mouse, no nothing, and you will see the arrows do not hit the exact same spot every single time.
Right.
There is a tiny bit of RNG. You can whiff a target. And you're playing Hardcore World? Are you going to trust a crossbow over a bow and arrow? I don't think so.
Well, I think it's a little bit more accurate. I'm not too sure. I thought I read that.
Okay. I mean, maybe it is, but now you're still the accuracy mark. But if you're not accurate enough to hit that many targets that quickly.
I think it's with the firework, it goes straight.
So now you have to build a farm to make fireworks, put on arrows to put in a crossbow.
I was going to mention that. Like, you can get more damage out of the crossbow if you have fireworks. But, it takes a lot to make fireworks, and you got to keep your distance.
Mm-hmm.
If you shoot someone that's kind of close to you with a firework, you're going to take damage. So it's not always ideal to use that.
Right.
And it's got to be the explodey ones, not the ones you fly with.
Exactly. More resources.
Right.
So yeah, you either need to increase the reloading speed or increase the damage is the big thing to fix the crossbow. There's no other way around it. I think it's the same with the trident. It's like, oh yeah, the trident's great. No, it's not. The trident's like the coolest weapon in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the most useless weapon along with the crossbow.
Yeah, you have the loyalty thing. It's cool. It comes back to you.
Super cool.
Yeah, it takes a minute though, to get back to you. So why use it in that sense?
Not to mention, you can throw it in the void still, even with loyalty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you can.
So it's like, why is that a thing still?
Yeah.
I don't know. So my other fixes, they had nothing to do with reloading speed or increasing damage. I thought, what are some other ways we can make the crossbow better without changing those stats? The one everyone mentions is throwing the spyglass on the crossbow.
Yeah.
You mentioned it's more accurate. Might as well turn it into a sniper.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, maybe you get a little more distance.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I was thinking about was if we ever could get rope in the game, it'd be nice to turn that into a nice way to put rope in areas. So you want to climb up a wall. So you fire a crossbow with a rope attached to it, and now you can climb up the rope.
Like Batman.
Like Batman. And on the same aspect, what if you could tie a torch to an arrow? So like you need to light up an area that's high up. What if I could just shoot a torch up there?
Yeah.
That would light the area up for me.
So you're turning this weapon into like a tool.
Right. It's no longer considered a weapon. It's a long range,
Yeah.
placing device at this point.
Yeah, give it multiple uses to have people use it.
As a weapon, it's not.
Yeah, it's not very appealing. I've come across them many times. Like I was saying, I've been in many bastions already, and there's a crossbow.
Mm-hmm.
And then I close the chest after grabbing
Yep.
everything else but the crossbow. I have one, just in case I'd need a crossbow, which as of right now, over so many seasons of playing the game, I've never really used it. Find the bow way more convenient.
I gave the crossbow a fair shake last season. I used it for about a week and a half as my main ranged weapon. It was horrible. I had the best enchantments you could throw on one, except for multi-shot. I've never liked multi-shot. And the fact that it would take 4 or 5 arrows to kill a mob, I was like, no, we can't have this. This is not good.
I could see it being the most useful if you have multi-shot and fireworks.
Yeah.
Now, like I said before, this, it takes a lot of resources to make all those fireworks,
Yeah.
but you could probably clear out a pretty big area a lot quicker with something like that.
You probably could.
But are you going to have it in your inventory? No. You're probably
Right.
special uses in that case.
Yeah, and that actually ties in perfectly for what I wanted to talk about this week.
Right? Let's do it. Before we go, I just wanted to mention how funny it is how we can't talk about the crossbow without bringing up the trident. I just thought that was funny.
It's very true.
I'm like, wait, we're not supposed to be talking about this.
When you think of useless items,
Mm-hmm.
I can find better uses for a poisonous potato than I can a crossbow or trident.
Ooh, man, you're really
Yeah.
tearing her down there.
Yeah. Not so much vanilla game, but there can be some uses for a poisonous potato that are better.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so inventory. I don't want to talk about an inventory update because I've beat that horse way more than it probably should have. But I wanted to talk about like what stuff do you keep in your inventory all the time? Because we mentioned when you go in the Nether, you need to have some kind of gold on you now.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in like where Carl lives in that snowy base, you got to keep leather boots on you now.
Yeah.
Like let's start with armor. Your basic everyday armor. What are you wearing?
Helmet, pants, and boots, all netherite if you can. If you can afford the netherite. I got all my enchantments on there.
Diamond's still suitable.
Yes, diamonds are just as good. I mean, netherite's a step above. You won't have to worry about dying in lava as much. So it definitely helps to have netherite, but diamonds are great armor as well. I always make sure I have fire resistance on one of those, at least one of those. You don't need blast protection as much if you have the netherite. I think it has blast protection and fire resistance a little bit involved in it. So that's the beauty of having the netherite also.
Glad you said that because I can't remember if it does either. I know I use netherite 1 for the durability.
Yes.
And 2 for the if I die in lava, it'll float at the top.
Yeah, those are the main two things, but I think it's got a little bit of built-in enchantments involved. So try to get netherite if I can. It looks cooler, but this season we're trying to, we have a mod that makes it invisible to where you have all the protection, but you can actually see your skin. So, and I don't wear a chest plate normally. I wear my elytra.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like in any situation I can get away a lot faster with the elytra, and with the netherite and all the enchantments on those, I get just as good as protection without the chest plate.
Yeah. I'm much more weak. So I wear gold boots, which is already a downgrade. But my gold boots are decked out, obviously, with Depth Strider, Feather Falling, Protection 4, all the good stuff. And then I have netherite pants. Again, diamonds are perfectly suitable. I only get netherite when I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm bored. I have about an hour to waste on the server. What can I do? Let's go mining for netherite. So I go dig.
Mm-hmm.
Usually within an hour, I can get 4 ancient debris.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, that can get at least one thing suited up. My hat this season, normally I would just wear a netherite hat, but I have the special hat from Winter, which has Aqua Infinity, Respiration 3, Protection 4, but it's a pumpkin.
Mm-hmm.
So I get no armor protection out of it.
Yeah.
And again, I'm an elytra guy too. So I am significantly less decked out than people.
I never noticed in your episode. I have to look now what your armor is.
I think it's like 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah, elytra, without the chest plate, I think it takes like 3 or 4.
It's big. The chest plate's a huge thing.
Yeah, that's like your biggest protection.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to have it early game, but once you get the elytra.
Mm-hmm.
Now you mentioned you have gold boots. I have a pair of gold boots. I always keep in my ender chest.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I always have in my inventory. Not on my hotbar, but in my inventory, I always have an ender chest.
Same.
And that expands my inventory by a ton.
27.
Yeah, yep, 27 to be exact. Along with the shulker boxes, I have spots for my shulker boxes. It's very convenient to have at least one ender chest in your inventory. And then inside my ender chest, I have a bunch of ender chests. So if I need more, there's more inside there.
I keep ender chests in my inventory. I keep multiple ender chests in my inventory. I don't keep ender chests in my ender chest. I probably should. That makes more sense. So not including the hotbar. In my inventory, I have a bucket of water, an ender chest, a arrow, what was the other one? Scaffolding, bed, and crafting tables.
This is in your inventory, not your hotbar.
In my inventory, not on my hotbar. Oh, and I now carry a clock with me because my base is not lit up at all. I found a clock day 1 on Ripple Effect, so I keep it in the top left-hand corner of my inventory. So basically now I have a watch.
Yeah, be cool to just put that on your player.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I usually in my inventory, there's my ender chest. I keep one arrow because infinity is OP. Yeah, a water bucket can be in my hotbar, but a lot of times it's not. And ender pearls also. I always keep them to the side. I never need them all the time, so always keep those in my inventory. No bed, no clock. What else did you say? I think that was about it.
Scaffolding. I keep scaffolding in my inventory.
No, I usually don't have scaffolding. I don't think I made any scaffolding yet. If I have a block on me, I'm going to use that for scaffolding, unless there's a project I know I'm going to be at for a little while. So,
yeah, for me, the scaffolding's emergency hide. Mob chasing me, I throw it down, I can stack all the way up, get out of range.
Ah, yeah, you don't have to worry about jumping. Just throw them down.
Exactly.
Good idea. Good reason to have it.
But let's go to hotbar, because everybody has their hotbars set up differently and specifically. If you're one of those people that just put items anywhere, weird.
Yeah. What's in your first slot? We'll start with your first slot.
First slot's sword.
Mine's my pick. And normally it's my Silk Touch. I have my Fortune 3 in my ender chest.
I keep my Fortune 3 in my ender chest also.
Kind of same in that aspect, but yeah, my number 1 spot is definitely my pick. And then in my 2 is my sword.
My number 2 is my pick. Silk Touch, netherite pick.
Okay, kind of similar. What's on your sword? Do you go smite or sharpness?
I do sharpness, sweeping edge, looting 3, knockback. I think that's it.
Same here.
I don't like fire aspect. At all. I like knockback because if you get overrun with mobs with sweeping edge, you can kind of push some of them back.
Yeah, those two I feel like are a must. I always go sharpness because, for one, I do have a fire aspect. That was an accident. It was kind of on my sword, and I didn't want to get rid of all the other enchantments just to get rid of that. So I kind of stuck with it. Even my bow, besides the infinity, which is a must, I have flame. It's called flame on the bow.
Yeah, I can attest to it. You have flame.
I do have flame. Yeah, and I normally have flame on my bow and not my sword.
I don't like flame on a bow, and I don't like punch on a bow.
Oh, I always have punch too.
I hate punch. I'll be trying to shoot something, and then you hit it, and now that mob has moved, so you have to realign and try to shoot it again.
I noticed when I was in the nether, and I'm trying to get wither. I see a wither skeleton. I'm like, oh, let's see if I can get his head. I'll hit him and knock him off the whole platform.
See?
And I'm like, no, there he went. I can't get his head. Yeah, that does hurt you in some cases. You're right. But my number 3 slot is my axe.
Same.
Always keep my axe in my number 3. That is such a valuable weapon. If you don't want to hit more than one mob, if you want to concentrate on one, you can take them out with the axe, and it does a lot of damage. Not only that, I always put smite on my axe, and I keep sharpness on my sword.
I don't have smite on my axe. I have silk touch on my axe because sometimes I'll get lazy and don't want to get a hoe or shears to get leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just chop it with the axe.
Same here. I got silk touch on my axe.
If the sword didn't have sweeping edge, I probably would have switched to an axe as the main weapon. Just to open up inventory space, really.
Yeah, and at the beginning of a world, I never make a sword until it's diamond. Like, your axe is such a valuable and potent weapon. You know, it does a lot of damage, so there's no reason to have a sword until you are able to get those enchantments. Yeah.
I was one-shot cows most of the time early in the game with my axe.
Yeah, with a wooden axe, if you do a critical hit, which is a jumping hit, you can kill a cow. It's crazy. Not with a sword. But what's in your fourth slot?
My fourth slot changes. So it'll either be torches or fireworks.
Okay.
I rotate those two in and out.
I have my shovel. Always put my shovel in there.
See, that's what I forgot to mention. My third slot is an axe, but I keep the shovel above it and rotate the shovel and axe in and out. Okay. Because I found if I'm chopping wood, I usually don't run into the part where I need a shovel. If I'm mining somewhere, I'm not chopping wood, so I can get rid of the axe, put the shovel in there.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I always kept my shovel close, in case I need it. There's times, like, for instance, now you have the snow you have to get through.
Yep.
What is it? The fluffy snow. What is that called?
Powdered snow.
Powdered snow. You said it and I missed it. Yeah, good thing I have my shovel there. I don't have to go after it, so I could dig my way out of that mess. And, other instances, too, where I feel like my shovel needs to be there. But mostly mining, when you go after sand, there are some times where, you specifically use your shovel, which, in that sense, your method is ideal.
Yeah.
My fourth slot, no, I just said it's my shovel.
Yeah.
My fifth slot is my bow. Always keep my bow in my fifth slot. I kind of categorize them as I need them. Like, what do I use the most? I guess my bow would be up there more. I use my bow a lot, but yeah, I always keep it beyond my tools. Tools go before my bow.
Yeah. My fifth, sixth, and seventh slot are empty.
Okay.
Those are my building slots, so I got nothing in them.
Ah, all right.
Yeah, and then my eighth slot is my bow, and my ninth slot is food. And that's specifically done this way. So the food is between the two weapons. So if I'm in obvious combat, whether I'm with sword or arrow, I can just click once to get to my food. I don't have to scroll through the crossbar or hotbar.
Okay.
And as a controller player, I don't have a mouse wheel, and I can't quick punch a number key to get to an item. So I have to lay it out by the amount of clicks it takes me to scroll through the hotbar. And that's why it's specifically set up that food is in the middle of both my melee weapons.
Yeah, and I'm with you on keeping the food in the last slot. I always keep my food in the last slot. But in front of that, in my A slot, I always have my rockets. I always need my rockets in my inventory. I think my 6th and 7th, I try to keep them open. Sometimes I'll slide the pearls and the water bucket in there, but those are my main two. I use 2 slots usually for building. When I'm building, sometimes I'll move other things. Like I'll move my bow up and take my shovel out if I'm not going to use it. Yeah, that's the problem with inventory. There's a lot of blocks you want to build with nowadays, and there's only you need those other. There's your needs. You need your pick. You need all this other stuff in your hotbar, and it only leaves so many slots for building blocks.
Yeah, and that's why
a little irritating.
My inventory fix, I think I've been saying it for a year now, is to have, instead of 1 hotbar, have 4 hotbars. You can just swap through inventory-wise, cycle through. So you have like a weapons hotbar, then a building hotbar, maybe a food hotbar or something like that. I think that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Definitely change the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I always like that fix. Yeah, I'd like to hear from everyone else, see what their hotbars.
Yeah, show us your hotbars.
Yeah. Take a picture of your hot bars. Send them in Discord. Kind of curious how much we're alike or how weird you are.
They're probably thinking we're weird.
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure some are similar.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had fun talking about that, actually.
Yeah, it was a nice topic.
I was thinking about that the other day. Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to do it for today's show. Before I have Jimbo read us out, I want to say a huge thank you to all of our patrons who are supporting the show. Our milk level patrons are Aubni, ChiefBigBear, Crock, FragileRock, KC Plays Games, Obeep, viperoustuna, and WyreGuy. Holy cow, guys, the list is getting long enough I had to take a breath in the middle of saying those.
Yeah.
If you too would like to get access to exclusive benefits and hours of extra content each month, please consider joining at patreon.com/The Withering Effect.
And if you like the show, you can share it with all of your friends and on social media. If you listen on Spotify, rate and follow us, or so you never. Oh, this is that new part. It's that new part. If you listen on Spotify, rate and follow us so you never miss a future episode. Or if you listen on Apple Podcasts, leave us a nice review. Doing any of these really helps the show reach more listeners. If you'd like to get in contact with us, send an email to podcast@thewitheringeffect.com. Tweet us, leave a voice message, or join our Discord where you can have a chat with everyone who works on the show and fellow listeners. Also, share your hot bars.
Yeah.
All the links will be in the show notes.
This show has been brought to you by Jimbo and myself, but also our digital producer, Carl. He helps make sure the show ends up where it should be, and the amazing music you hear in the intro and outro is created by the one and only Decoy. Everyone's social media info can be found in the show notes. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for getting withered with us. You should probably go drink your milk now. Bye.
See you guys.